Hello everyone, I'm Panos Stavrakakis. I will be your moderator in this session for safety culture. I work for the HSE, the Health and Safety Executive, the UK regulator for occupational health and safety. I'm really happy to contribute to this event, and I'm really happy and really proud for the organizers organizing this really amazing event. I'm really happy to see that Safety Gala has evolved to a really international event and with so many thematic areas. I'm very happy to host in this session some exceptional professionals of health and safety. We have Olga and Bill live with us, and Holly with a record presentation. Olga will start her presentation in a while. And before starting, I would like to introduce Olga to the audience. Olga is a health and safety professional, a doctorate in engineering, chairperson in various organizations, a trainer, advisor, and she brings on board more than 15 years of industrial experience in occupational health and safety. Flora, the floor is yours, Olga.
Thank you very much. Thank you for management first group for organizing this nice event, and it's a chance for everyone to share their experience and to learn more about experience of others. So now I'm sharing my screen. I hope that it works good and you see my screen. If not, just let me know. And now let me start. So first of all, I chose my topic, the potential of human capital. Why? Because I've heard a lot from HR, from IOS, that they talk about human capital. As a practitioner, I realize that I don't know exactly what does it mean. And so it's a topic for my small research. So what would I like to present now? What have I found about it? What is human capital, and why do we talk and why do we need to talk about human capital and safety? And what are trends of 2021 about it? And maybe some tips for implementation. And I really ask you also to join me and think about how do you can use in your practitioner life and your practical work with people, with employees. How can we use it? Well, let's start. So what is it? It's economical value of workers' experience and skills. So it really brings us money. So economic growth is in direct relation with human capital. It includes education, training, skills, and very important health and other things that are valuable for employers. So individually, human capital consists of qualification and ability to work, and totally, of course, it can be count for countries, for companies, and of course, it's interesting for all of us where we are now. But before we go to the global human capital index, let's see the background about this theory. So, of course, it by origin from 18th century, from Adam Smith, that education is a win-win situation for everyone. But just last years, we start talk about it more seriously after Paul Romer investigation about endogenous growth theory. That really, if we want economical growth, we need to look for internal forces, and we need to invest in human capital, and human capital is the key for economical growth for company and for countries. And since 2020, 2012, the World Economic Forum calculated global human capital index, and you may see here there is a score within in white column from first place Singapore and all first 60 countries. And of course, you look now and you think, well, if you're not from Singapore, well, we could do better. So I think about my Ukraine on 53rd place, that it could be better. And actually, we all can have impact on this. And you will say, why is it important for health and safety practitioners? I would say that it is too important because if you look in statistic of fatal accidents at work, I took it from Eurostat, it's for European country, but I made sure that Singapore also had a low fatality rate at work. So countries with a bigger global human capital index have a lower fatal accident rate. What does it mean for us? Maybe you knew that more educated people, they had less fatalities. But for us, it means that we can now say to all our bosses, we can say and convince them to invest into health and safety, because if you educate your people, educated in health and safety, you will have a lot of profits. You will have more educated people and you will have healthy people. So that means human capital of your company will grow up with education in health and safety. So now, using this index, it's easy to talk to bosses, it's easy to talk even to governments. And well, hopefully you accept the idea, yes? And then the next question, how could we use it? How can we grow the potential of human capital? Let's look on Deloitte Insights investigations that they make every year and generously share with the world. And the most particular important the investigation was done last year, because it was a difficult year for everyone with a lot of outcomes. And there's one of them, how to work with human capital, how to give its force. And so it's called Social Enterprise at Work Paradox as a path forward. How can we use it? What paradox do they mean? Paradox now, where it is environment where we live now. So it consists of three parts. It's first paradox, it's connection and distance. So we all are connected now, closer than before, but the distance between us is bigger. We all are isolated. It's about safety and privacy. The problem is if we want to be safe, we need to open our privacy. That means, for example, if you suspect COVID-19, you need to open all your relationship last 2 weeks. And of course, it's the paradox of our time. And productivity and efficiency, that means that we need now to be 100% productive. But are we efficient indeed or not? We cannot count right now. So the idea that Deloitte Insight shared with us, that we need to talk about fusion of technology and humanity as HR, as safety professional, we need to give some new attributes of how we can combine it. So first of all, they call it 3P: purpose, potential, and perspective. Purpose, that means that we need to give a direct purpose to all our employees. This purpose should consist of individuality. That means that people need to underline, to highlight their individuality, and also they need to see that they belong to some company, to the group of people. Then what potential is? Potential means that people should understand that security and safety are not stable at all. You can achieve a feeling of security and safety when you rethink, reinvent all your present time challenges right now. So the potential in knowledge, how to do this reinvention, and perspective. So in time of uncertainty, people often do not see the future. So we need to show them that uncertainty is our normal life, and to be not afraid of this. Just give them a boldness to be brave, to break this uncertainty with some perspective. So let's see how we can do it really in our practical work at the enterprises. It's interesting actually. Some they find instance they report are quite interesting. For example, for myself, it was very interesting. So we need to not focus on generations. So now it's recommended to go to post-generational workforce. That means that yes, we understand that millennials are different from previous generations, but let's talk better about perennials. Perennials, like botanic definition, it's about plants who live many years. That means for us that now we all in the floor, my mother and my daughters, all of them, and me, all of them are in social nets. That means that we all can achieve new information. We all can achieve absolutely equal knowledge. So all that we need to grow people, doesn't matter which generation they are, to grow them in health, safety, and education. Also super teams as well, they need to consist of all diversities that we have in place, age, gender, and so on and so forth. Knowledge management, of course, it's important because we all are connected to the open world. All that we need to give to manage the skills and knowledge that people need to obtain to support their required level of knowledge. And also it's important that strict instructions will not work anymore. Better we would work with freedom of taking decision. And of course, we need to give them a particular knowledge. And now there is my favorite part is about how we can use this knowledge in our normal life, in our work. I was delighted and I'm delighted and I continue this work. I'm involved in CSI Program, the program of involvement for continuous safety improvement provided by Management First Group. And I'm one of trainers of this group for one food industry enterprise. And of course, there is an example. I'm sure that you will find from your experience other examples how we can use a 3P: purpose, potential, perspective, working with people in health and safety. So What is it? CSI program. It's team coaching program. It's we develop habit of continuous improvement. We work with employees, and we learn them how to know, understand, and digest and accept the idea of continuous improvements, their safety in their working places. So we try to learn them to replace a routine with another one more attractive. And it works with, this program works for several years. So usually it consists of management commitment, of course, first of all, and we set some teams in place. We measure baselines. There is the idea of measurement baseline, but there are a lot of measurements inside the program. We define KPIs, and then we start coaching. So we work with people, we instruct them how to do their working place better and safer. And then we make some final measurement, assess again, and make another run, another phase, another team. Saying it in plain words, we talk mainly with middle management, because they have communications above and below, and of course with support of top managers. And so from our experience from 2020, we were working with two teams, safety culture teams, company culture teams, cycle 1 and cycle 2. And COVID pandemic happened right when we started the cycle 1. And what happens then? Then it was a challenge for us to implement this 3P, to implement to people this purpose, potential, perspective, and how it works. So you can see there is a team on the screen. It's me. So we couldn't, because borders were closed, and we via all these links were with them just virtually. And so we were working with team, but we gave them purpose, daily targets. So daily targets were to our employees is make one intervention per day. Then we gave them potential, because we were in distance, so they were decision makers, where they can decide how can they work with all they found. And we gave them a perspective. First of all, of course, it's safe workplace. And another point is career, because of course, if they communicate to big bosses, if they communicate, they can show all their ability, where they can be in better position in their companies. And of course, it also consists all these modern trends. So altogether, they are like super team, and but they keep their individuality, because their daily targets were individual. And also it was knowledge management as well, because knowledge is something that it is a time when a company provides the safety standards, and of course every standards requires a knowledge sharing. So knowledge management is in place. And for me, it's the most valuable thing that health and safety team, health and safety department was just a support. So all changes were done by operators, by middle management. It's really, really good. So pictures and improvements done by the team. So we were abroad. We just leave them floor for making it live and making it very good. So there were improvements in machinery guarding, in work at height, in more safe tools. They did risk assessment. It actually was first time for post-Soviet Union countries. It's not widely spread yet. but it will be in future. They started the NEAMIS program and Safety Ideas program, and how I see it in my screen, I see it in my phone, I see the ideas actually very, very good and important about machinery garden, about valves distance for from the operators. There is some improvements in manual handling, in chemical management, and really I'm proud of that. You can imagine that between first non-conformities that they found, it's a miss of guards at height. In 3 days it was done. So it's really something that prove that this trend of giving purpose, potential, and perspective to our employees give very good examples, to very good let's say a way for health and safety in future, when we can really give some new potential to human capital. So really, I would like you to join to these modern trends and implement them for safety if you have not done this yet. Thank you for your attention. Hopefully it was interesting how it was interesting to me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Olga. Thank you, Olga. It was really amazing sharing with us all this fantastic work. I just like to remind to our audience that they can upload their questions. They can send their questions to live Q&A box. Unfortunately, we cannot host a Q&A session after the presentations, but the people of Safety Gala will gather your questions, they will group them, and will respond individually via email. Now we move on to when the London Olympics organization asked HSE to support a very ambitious goal. The London Olympics hold a very rare record. It's the only Olympics that does not suffer any fatality during the construction phase. This made achievable because this organization heavily invested in promoting and empower the health and safety culture of this organization during the construction phase. So our scientists developed this tool, which is a digital tool. We conduct surveys across all the organization, and in order to gather views and perspectives around health and safety culture. We've seen that the organizations use this tool to measure their strategy, or to measure the impact of the various safety interventions that are implemented to their strategy. It is very common for the safety culture tool users to come back to HSE to ask for support in order to identify the hot areas that need interventions. We help these organizations to design these interventions, and we train them to monitor these interventions to self-improve things. The safety culture tool is used widely in the UK, but also overseas around the globe. It's a very successful tool. We've heard a lot of success stories. Especially the people find very useful the benchmark tool, where you can compare yourself with your peers, and it's a measure for improvement. Now we have with us Holly to talk about safety culture tool. Holly is a fantastic colleague. He's working for TSO, a business partner of HSE. Is the mind and heart of a safety culture tool, and help people to understand the tool, how to use it and how to implement it. I think, George, now it's time to start the presentation of Holly.
Brilliant. So this is the web page on the HSE Books page for the Safety Climate tool. sorry, I'll just pop over, that was the help section. This is probably where you found the webinar as well. So we always have our webinar dates if you have any colleagues that are interested, but we will be sending you a recording of this as well. Now here it will cover some of the things that Rob mentioned. So there is like a speech here about what safety culture is from the lovely Jennifer Webster, one of the lead psychologists at the HSE. It talks about the benefits again, as Rob mentioned, supporting your journey towards ISO 45001. The tool is also available in over 45 languages, and those language templates would be available to you within the subscription. So you'd have access to all of these, and if you were requiring another language, if you're looking to take it out, just let us know and we can work with you on that as well. There's some information here around other organisations using the tool, the licensing pricing, which is based on the number of surveys you wish to send out per year. There's a higher year one fee and then just an annual consecutive charge for each year that you wish to continue your subscription. And then at the bottom here, we've got some really interesting links, how to get to the tool. So this link will take you to the tool if you ever forget. There's some white papers on how the tool was designed and used in certain circumstances. I think one of the white papers covers the use on the London Olympic build, which is a very interesting approach. There's some how-to videos, terms and conditions, and frequently asked questions. So I'm just going to jump to the tool itself. And within it, I'm just going to load a survey and create a new survey. Brilliant. And so what this will do is it will enable you to create a survey and go through the setup wizard. And so within the setup wizard, you can really see the parameters that you can personalize and how the individuals will come to see the survey itself. So when you come to create the survey, you're able to put your name, organizational name, and your organizational logo. So it will sit up there next to the HSE. You're able to put the number of individuals you wish to send the survey out to per year. So at the moment, it's approximately 1,000, but obviously this varies depending on your sample size. Now, because the survey is sent out via a link, this link is something that you individuals tend to complete the survey online or through their devices. So you're able to send them to a website of your choice once they've completed the survey. So if that's of interest, you can use this here. This could be an intranet page, a thank you page. We've had organisations plant a tree for every survey completed and combine it with a health and wellbeing initiative. So there's lots of things you can do. The next section here allows you to put a little bit of background behind the survey. What is the driving force behind it? What is the intention? Obviously, the more information that you can give individuals, the better, so they're aware of what they're completing and why they're getting involved within the survey. And the more honest their answers will be as well. You can put an expected completion date. So, for example, if I took the survey live today, I'd give them a month's time to complete the survey. And if there are going to be any paper questionnaires, how to hand them in. There is an app available which could help remove the need for this if you are having problems with the internet connection or certain things, but I can discuss that with you separately if you need that support. Here you can consider how feedback will be given, and so this can be different styles. You may just have a visual. You may just have a visual overall and a video just from senior management, and then further follow-ups from different management and departments, etc., as well as being able to include a management statement. And here you'll be able to put the statement from the manager as well as their signature and maybe a picture. If you're running a survey per region, you'd be able to use a different head of that region to give it a more personalised feel. But having a statement from the senior management lets you know that their commitment's already been obtained, so they're already taking something very seriously, and it helps to encourage response rates. So the next section here we talk about is demographics, and this is where you'll be able to put in the different roles, grades, positions or bands that you use. You've got up to 15 different sections that you can use, and some examples would be, for example, senior management, supervisors, workers, delivery drivers, just as an example. Obviously, no two organisations are exactly the same, so this is where you would want to think about this and plan this out in advance just to make sure you utilise the best bits of the tool. But there is a video around Plan to help you. The next section here, you've got departments, so you'll be able to put again up to 15, and you'll be able to split those very easily. As well as looking into the multiple sites, locations, regions or offices, again up to 15 different areas. So in this case, if you decided to run a survey per region, here you'd be able to drill down to site. So each site you'd have listed in region A, and then follow up with that. You're also enabled to look into the tenure or length of service of an individual. This can help you understand potentially when they learned certain things or whether they've been on a training course or not, because you know the last training course in something was 6 years ago. Maybe then it would be a process to focus on the newer members of staff, or maybe the induction process changed, and so people who have been with you for quite some time aren't aware of some of the procedures that and training that's now being taught. You're also able to look into the types of work that people do. So this can be unique to your organisation. It might not be relevant, but it could be, for example, full-time, part-time, office-based, factory-based, day shift, night shift. And all of those things will affect how communication occurs with the individual and the different processes that would be followed for them to communicate as well. You can ask whether they're contractors or not. And then you can also include up to 6 free text open questions of your choice. So we give you some suggestions, all of which can be edited, as well as the opportunity to specify your own question. It's worth mentioning we don't analyse these results, but we do enable you to filter by the different departments, locations, sites, role. So you can then help focus and run focus groups and follow-ups based on this information. The next section here will enable you to personalise the survey using terms that are recognised by the individual. This is only available in the English version because of the way that sentences are constructed in other languages, but you can just change some of the lingo if you needed. And then finally, at the end, we just ask you to pick the the industry that best represents your organisation. This isn't used for anything apart from our own data for when we're looking to create benchmarking. And then you just click next and build, and that will create the survey for you, and it just takes a couple of seconds, and it should populate to the left hand side. It really just depends on your internet connection on how long it takes to be made, so we'll just see how we're doing. So while that's loading, I'll just jump to a page that we have around the help section. So within here, this is supporting resources that you'll have available to you. Videos on each stage, as I mentioned, the plan, build, collect, analyse moving forward. It also recommends supporting resources that would be beneficial to you in that stage. So within collect, workforce briefing messages, and you can click on the supporting resources here and see all of the supporting resources you have available, the line manager briefing messages, workforce briefing messages, all that can be edited and rebranded and sent out to your staff. So we've got the survey that we've just made here, brilliant. So you can click on build and you'll be able to see the survey you've just created. So you can click on edit if you needed to and edit anything within the blue text. This is if you've got all the questions correct, for example, but if you are missing any of the demographics or anything like that, you can go through to rebuild and edit it that way as well. So it just gives you an option to start a survey and maybe add to it as you're going through. But say you're ready and you're happy with the survey, you can actually now come to the collect phase. And within the collect phase, what you have is a link. And so this will be the link that you send out to individuals, and you'll be able to personalize it. So that will be the link that you'd use, for example. And this will be the link that's then sent out to individuals for them to complete the survey. And that would be where you may use the marketing comms. Now, the reason we get you to send it out through your own internal comms is so there's no GDPR issues with using the tool. Everything is sent out through your own internal servers and internal communications. So every worker is protected as well. And there's a level of anonymity through the tool. So if you wanted to use any paper surveys, you can, and you can download them here, or this could be just to send the survey over to another individual just to check it before you make it live. You'll be able to launch a preview, and this preview will show you how individuals coming to complete the survey will complete it and what they will see on their screen when they do. So this gives you an opportunity to check the link at the end is working if you have used a link and want to send them to a website of your choice. It's worthwhile mentioning that the survey is available on all screen readers as well, so it adapts to lots of people's needs. And so to take the survey live, you would need to then just come into the schedule and either put a start and end date using the different time zones, and then click start interviewing, and that will take this link live and enable anyone who then clicks on the link and completes the survey for the results to be collated. So we're just going to go to a survey I made earlier with some results, because then I can take you to the analyze section. So bear with me 1 second. So this is a survey I created earlier, and here you can see we've got 232 responses. So if I click on analyze, this will take me through to the tools reports. And so the results actually come through in real time. So as long as you've got more than 10 responses, you'll be able to run a report. And the reason for that is anonymity. Obviously, we want to protect the rights of your workers. And so if you know there's only one senior manager based in one location, and you run a report and it just shows his report, you know that that's Charlie's opinions and results. So we wanted to avoid that, and we want to make sure that there's at least 10 people in the sample group. So let's have a look at the survey. So the survey itself, you can see at the top here, will tell you approximately 250 people invited to complete the survey, 232 completed it, and these are how their findings hinge around the 8 key safety factors, which are organisational commitment, health and safety oriented behaviours, health and safety trust, usability of procedures, engagement in health and safety, peer group attitude, resources for health and safety, and accident and near miss reporting. And so any favourable responses are in green, neutral responses are in amber, and unfavourable responses are in red. So instantly you can see the strongest factors and the most unfavourable factors being organisational commitment. You can then see the responses. So, for example, one of the most favourable responses was within peer group attitude. I sometimes turned a blind eye to less important health and safety procedures, with 58% of people either disagreeing or strongly disagreeing with that statement, which is a good thing. Same with unfavourable. Some of the workforce paid little attention to the health and safety, with 48.9% of people either agreeing or strongly agreeing with that statement. The tool then will take you to the factor itself. So within organisational commitment, it will then show you the questions that are related to that. So, for example, productivity is usually seen as more important than health and safety, which has 66.7% of people agreeing with that statement or strongly agreeing with that statement, which is the worst question within that factor. It will tell you those 2 aspects, as well as it will give you a breakdown of the roles. So you can see here that warehouse workers have a more favourable response than administrative staff and delivery drivers. Now, is that because they tend to be around lots of posters and things that actually mention safety a lot compared to admin staff and delivery drivers who are out on their own? That could be a factor. So your experience and your knowledge of the organisation will help to understand and make sense of the data. At the end here, you'll also given your score compared to the HSE's benchmarking score. This is just an example, and it's a pretty bad example. So you can see that your factor score of 2.8 is in the first percentile, which means that it's greater than 1% of the other scores obtained, and is below average. So the survey does this for each factor going forward. So you've got this for every factor until you get to the end. And then based on that data pool, it will give you some priorities and next steps for improvement. So based on those 232 responses, it's recommended that you focus on organisational commitment and health and safety-oriented behaviours. And these are some suggestions we make that will allow you to then follow up and make recommendations as the expert within your organisation. If you need any support, there is the HSE consultancy option to make more sense of this, and you can find out here, or alternatively contact me. As well as that, you've got Appendix A, which has got the demographics. So this has got a demographic breakdown. It's got your role, department, site, and you'll be able to look at this as the results are coming in real time. Go, well, I know that there's more people in Department F than there are in all of the other departments. So why is that so low? And you can put a push on that while the responses are still coming in. Appendix B will break down your open-ended questions, and you'll be able to see these here and download and share these out as well. As well as within the tables and charts section, you've got access to your summary tables. So summary tables of favourable responses. And within here, you'll be able to see if there's any trends of favourable responses by role. So you can see here that senior management tend to have a more favourable view than delivery and warehouse workers, which is not uncommon, but it's a really good visual representation to make people aware of that split. You've got mean scores. You'll be able to see where you're scoring for each factor and compare this maybe with a survey you ran last year. So long as if you can get the demographics right now, you can replicate those same demographics for the next 2, 3, 4 years and make really easy comparisons. You can further break down the factor by any of the demographic sets. So you may want to look into the tenure, the length of staff of a member of staff, and see how that is affecting the results. You can also look into a specific question if you wish. So for example, productivity or getting the job done is usually seen as more important than health and safety. And you can see how that split is explained. And then finally, what you can actually do is come in and apply a filter. And so here, what we'll do is we'll look into a specific department, Department A, okay, and you can apply more than one filter at the same time if you wish, so you really split and drill down into the data. And so now when I come up to report, the filter will be on the front page telling you that it's filtered with Department A, and it will change all of the information within the report to now be personalised to that. So just quickly, 250 people invited to complete the survey, 17 people completed it from Department A, and these are how their results have been found to change. And this will change everything. So you can see the different spreads, as well as at the end, it will personalise the next steps based on the data sample as well. So you can really run different reports for all of those departments and give them to the different heads, so they've got their own personal approach as well. So the only other thing I will come to bring and talk about is actually within the supporting resources section. We've got some information on benchmarking for you, and this enables you to make comparisons. So we've got a benchmarking report here, which will enable you to compare your scores against others in different industries, and we use different industries: air, chemical, pharmaceutical, construction, emergency services, food and beverages, nuclear, oil and gas, power, primary manufacturing, professional, scientific and technical, rail, real estate, facilities management, secondary manufacturing and water. And we are always looking to add this as well. So we're doing some consolidation work at the moment. And the way we split the data is you get the range of the scores and then the average score. So you'd be able to see for each factor how they're trending and what the spread is like. And you can see the difference in all industries. We give you access to all of the industries because it might be that you have 2 different industries you can associate with. And then at the end here, we'll actually show you the breakdown per factor. So you'll be able to see, for example, factor 6. If you have a score here, you'll be able to plot your score and see where you correspond. And we also have a radar graph that can help you and put in the data into there as well. but I can follow this up. This is to be followed up, and we've got videos on how to support you with this once you've got some results in. So they're really great at helping you set KPIs going forward.
Okay, thank you, Holly, for this presentation. At this point, the session has concluded. I would like again to thank you, the SAFETY GALA people, the technical people and organizers for making this session happening very successfully. And also I would like to prompt our audience to upload their question on the live Q&A box. And these questions will be answered via email. Thank you very much, and please stay with us for tomorrow for the next sessions of the SAFETY GALA. Thank you very much.